What's up, Planeswalkers? Theorix one number back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. I do, of course, hope you head over to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the show. And it's a good place to buy some sweet Modern Horizons. Get those dank snow-covered lands by Titus. Those lands are fantastic. Today, we're playing the MTG's The Walking Dead. This essentially is the blue-black zombie list. Next up, I'll be doing white-black, and then I'll be doing some various color combinations, but today we're focusing on the blue-black persuasion, and blue-black actually brings some decent cards to us, specifically Soul Diviner, Gleaming Overseer, and End of the God-Eternals, but we'll talk about each of these cards in order of how they show up. So, first off, Lazotep Reaver. This is a decent, 2-mana 1-2 that amasses 1, so it's functionally a 2-mana 2-3. Sort of, but not really. But what's nice about this, over the other 2 drops I've had in other zombie decks, is that this has a bit more of a focus on amass, so this is pretty much just the choice over the others. For Soul Diviners, as I said, this is more of an amass focus style deck, so Soul Diviner is, for one, it's a good card, right? A 2-mana 2-3 is a decent rate, especially considering it is a zombie, so it does get buffs from our one zombie lord, one true zombie lord. But also, we're going to be able to use extraneous counters on our amass creatures, or even, if we have to, our planeswalkers, in order to get a little bit of extra value in drawing some cards. So that's pretty helpful. 3 Dreadhorde Invasions. This is just a great enchantment if you're playing amass. Being able to gain some life back has definitely helped me in some games, and being able to just, have blockers every turn to block, even if it's just, a 2-power creature, that's, you're gaining 1 life overall. And if you're able to utilize that token for more than blocking, I don't know why this would be happening. Let's say your opponent has 1/3/3, right? You can have this create a 1/1. You can block that 3/3 with your amass token, and then if you have Soul Diviner out, you can sacrifice the amass token by removing its counter essentially to draw a card. So that's cool stuff to do. 2 Thought Erasers. This initially was duress, and then I realized I'm playing blue-black, so this is almost always better. The Surveil is actually really helpful because we're going to be able to just dump a zombie into our graveyard if we want, and we can get it back with Liliana. Otherwise, it's a good card for helping you fix, and really importantly, it gets rid of pesky enchantments with which this deck has a difficulty dealing with. Of note, we are playing a couple Kefnets, so we did want to make our spell cost a little bit higher than I otherwise would, but I wanted to make sure that I'm playing at least Kefnet in the blue-black zombies list, because I feel like I've not been giving Kefnet a lot of attention. 4 Death Barons and 4 Gleaming Overseers. These are kind of our lords to work with. Death Baron, obviously a full lord, makes all of my zombies, regardless of whether or not they're tokens. +1/+1 in Death Touch, pretty helpful. Makes it so your single amass creatures or single counter amass creatures can deal with giant things, as long as they can block it. Hopefully they don't have trample. And then Gleaming Overseer is actually fantastically strong in that it gives your zombie tokens hexproof and menace. It's unfortunate that it doesn't give other zombies hexproof and menace, but I understand why they did this design. For what it's worth, it also amasses 1, which is helpful. But the fact that you can make it so, let's say you have a Dreadhorde Invasion out, and you have a 6-power attacking amass creature. I should just call it an army token. You have a large army token attacking. If they want to block and kill it, they have to block with at least 2 creatures. So if they have 2 4/4s or something, sure, they can kill it. But I get to kill 2 of their creatures. I still gain life. And I've only lost a single creature. Now, of course, that creature has amassed over the course of several turns, but still, the menace is very helpful, especially because you can go ahead and remove things with something like End of the God-Eternals, and then you have a beefier boy, and your opponent now only has 1 creature. Always nice. 2 Kefnets. Kefnet is 1, a zombie, 2, it flies, and 3, it's a 4/5 for 4, so that's very helpful in this deck. But additionally, if we get some of our instant sorcerers, I think we have 11 total in the deck, so it's not a lot, but if we are able to get them, it is going to be decent value, because they're either Thought Eraser, or they make amass, which is what we want, right? So, very helpful. Honestly, if nothing else, for just being a flying blocker, as that is something that our deck technically does struggle with, but also we can get a little bit of extra value. 3 Relentless Advance. Not a card I love to see, but I wanted to play Kefnet, and I wanted to actually use Kefnet. So, things had to be things. It was give and take. This deck is not optimal at all. This is just me trying to play zombies for fun, right? I just want to play zombies, and this is the color combination, and I made it how I wanted to make it. Obviously, you can try other things. I'm just showing you what I did. 2 Liliana, Untouched by Death. Liliana is helpful. She's not as good in this version compared to others because the total number of zombie creatures is relatively low. You know, we have, 4 playsets plus Kefnet, so that's only 20. And I feel as if a lot... Wait. What? 16 plus 2 is 18, you dumbass. You know, that's only 18. And I feel like I usually have more zombies than that in a given zombie deck, so... Her +1 is technically less good, same as her -1 because we're going large and not wide, thanks to the army token only ever being bigger. The -2 is often not going to be as helpful, but the fact still remains, you're going to be able to gain a bit of life from time to time with her +1, and being able to cast zombies from your graveyard is fantastic, especially considering we can put things in our library, or in our bin, like Thought Erasure, and with Enter the God-Eternals. Speaking of, this card is just good. It amasses for a lot, it deals damage to a thing, and you gain some life. And you can mill yourself if you want. What's not to love? It's a 4 of. Easy. To commence the endgame, another large spell. This one draws you cards, which is pretty helpful in a deck like this. And you amass X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. This often not going to be super big, but the fact of the matter is, it draws you cards, and I wanted to play it. To Liliana, Dreadhorde General. She's good. I don't think I need to talk more about that. This is our mana base. Pretty simple. We have a single Karn's Bastion. I don't want to like have too much of this, considering the color requirements we do have in the deck. But you know, if you have it late-ish in the game, being able to make your planeswalkers or your single army a little bit bigger is usually nice. I will attempt to remember to talk about the sideboard after the games. We're not playing in ranked. We're playing in play because I'm trying to have fun and not make my day awful. I was going to stream yesterday, which is today for me, but I just had too much stuff to do, and I have more stuff to do. Luke Highwalker. Hilarious name. This ends a bit slow, especially considering we're going second. In just a second, I'll talk about the London Mulligan that's coming to Magic. Gleaming Overseer. I'll keep it. It's not great. You know, we have a ton of 2-drops in the deck, so it maybe is just correct to mulligan here, but I didn't want to risk a super bad hand. Oh, don't play Lana Rails. Oh, no. Shit. This is bad. Okay, we got a Thought Erasure. You know, we have something to play on turn 2, so that's fine. We don't have anything on turn 1, like, ever. We used to with the rest, but we don't now. And you might be wondering why I'm not playing any of the 1-drop zombies. I will talk about that in the sideboard games, but the London Mulligan rule is coming to Magic. Right now we're on the Vancouver, which is where you mulligan like normal, and then you get to scry once you finish mulliganing, so that's cool. But now this one is, every time you mulligan, you get all 7 cards, but for each time you have mulliganed, you have to put a card from your hand onto the bottom of your library. Now, I don't love that, because it doesn't make... I'll tell you in a second. I guess I dropped Karn. So this is Tron. Yeah, this is the mono-green Tron deck, I guess. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm assuming. The reason I'm not... I believe, if I recall correctly, they stated that the reason they... chosen to put it on the bottom instead of shuffling it back in is because they wanted to lower the amount of time spent shuffling, right? Because already you have to look at your... shuffle, look at your 7, decide whether or not to keep. If you mulligan, you are putting that hand back, shuffling, drawing more 7, and you'd have to shuffle afterwards as well. So I think that's one of the main reasons they're doing that. How much mana is 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, my opponent can play this next turn. That's awful. That's very awful. I don't like this at all. I'm over here operating on a single turn, single cards. This guy's over here like a ramp out. Ish happens. Oh, of course, you just draw Eugene instead. Gotcha. I wonder if he's going to kill my Gleaming. Nope, just pluses. That is garbage. I drew a land, so that's nice. I can't Kefnet, so that's not nice. I can't just Relentless to put this to 4, so that if he does double... he'll have to double block if he wants, but if he does, I get to at least kill both of his creatures. So we're going to go here, and I'm still going to do this. Because I'm not blocking... I doubt they're going to try and attack me, and even if they do, I don't care about those. So I'm offering either Eugene dies or 2 of your creatures die. Unfortunately, of course, they're going to get a card back from Eugene. So yeah, looks like they're going to block. It's just strange to me that you can choose to put the card on the bottom. Like, so that's just information that you'll have, right? And that just feels really wrong to me. I'm not entirely sure why. It feels wrong that you'll know where a card is in your deck, like before the game truly starts. That said, I don't know. I feel like it would have been fine adding 1 more shuffle to just shuffle the card in, or the cards, but you know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so just for further clarification for those of you who don't know, let's say I'm actually going to use some cards here. Let's say I have my opening hand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say I have my opening hand of 7, right? I have 7 cards here. Let's say I want to mulligan once, right? Put these cards back, shuffle them in, I draw another 7. Let's say I keep this one. So I've mulliganed once. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put 1 of these cards onto the bottom. I think we're just going to try and get the gravy train rolling. I would love to draw a blue source next turn. I just realized my opponent can blast zone these 2 things. Whatever, it's fine. Everything's going bad for me anyway. You know, you draw 7 again, so this is your second mulligan. You'll put 2 cards back. It makes sense when you think about it, but I just wanted, excuse me, to make sure everyone was well aware of what was going on. Branchwalker, sure. Wow, it's a forest. So, if I recall correctly, Arena will be having a preview thing, essentially, for the London Mulligan, starting on June 7th, I want to say it was. I mean, I can probably find it somewhere. How is this not just, like, at the top of the Arena subreddit? Really? Really? Alright. Alright, what are you getting with Cairn? Should be news and announcements on the actual website then, right? God-Eternal statue. Oh, didn't I see... I saw someone play this. Yeah, I think this is just like the Tron deck that's... Words are hard. The Tron... Oh, I did get a blue. Cool, cool. Oh, of course! They cost 2 more to cast now. Nah, we're good. Test. There it is. It will be June 7th, yes. June 7th until June 14th during the War of the Spark Singleton event. That's the one that's going to be replacing Pauper. We will be using the new Mulligan rules, the new London Mulligan. And I think that's a good place to try it for Arena players, because a lot of people are going to be playing this, and they know that. Like, Wizards knows that we like Singleton, but they're not going to give us Brawl yet for some reason. But it is going to be an interesting stress test. This hand's really slow. I don't think I can keep this one. And the reason it's going to be interesting is because it seems like greedy decks might be able to be even more greedy. Because you're going to be able to sculpt your hand a little bit more. But, you know, this is going to be standard. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. Sure, I'll keep this. Yeah, I think I'd rather just have another playable card than hope for a land. Oh, cool. Later Worlds. I hope, as long as it's not the exact same deck as we played last time, because I do want some variety. Oh, I suppose I should probably be careful what I wish for. Okay, cool. So it's Selesnya counters, I think. We're going to go ahead and start off with a Lazotep Reaver. Next time, we're probably just going to play another Reaver. Unless we get an Overseer or a Baron. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm not going to double block that just to get blown out. Like, I knew he was going to do it anyway. So there's no reason. It was a good bait. You know, some newer players would get caught up by that. Oh. Abzan. Okay, I didn't expect that at all. So we will go ahead and just play this. And I will attack with definitely this will get larger, so I think I'd actually rather attack with this and potentially lose the Reaver to killing this. Yeah, my opponent very likely has removal since they're playing black and white, some of the most prolific removal colors in the game. But they would shoot Death Baron. Well, I assume this is going to kill Death Baron. That's fine, I didn't want to win. I'm going to be doing more collabs in the coming weeks. Confirmed ones. I'm still working on the dates and stuff, but, you know, definitely playing against Pixie. Definitely playing against Easy Mode. Jep is on board for the grudge match. Well, this is lethal, so I literally have to block. I guess I'd like to just kill Tolsmir. Is it Tolsimir? Oh, it is. Awkward. I've just been saying Tolsmir. Yeah, I mean, I need to top deck a land. Yeah, any land will do. Being able to just kill that. I don't care about the Scavenger. Although, to be fair, who's playing that main deck? Very, very interesting. So I'm gonna... Oh, I can't actually have a shock land because I'm going to 2 this turn. And I'm dead. Easy Mode, Xander's Quest, other people who I'm playing against. I haven't asked Merchant yet. I've asked Mono Black Magic. I thought I had contacted him before, like somewhere, but I couldn't find that. So I just commented on his YouTube channel, which is a ton of fun. I'm considering LVD, but not sure because I haven't actually interacted with him like at all. So, but yeah, those are some of the people who I'm thinking about doing fun things, and I'm trying to do like themed things. So like everyone actually is gonna have like it's not just gonna be I'm playing some games with them, right? So I think with PKP we're doing like a grudge match from like essentially me playing the Orzhov Dies deck. And then like with with Easy Mode, the plan is to do stuff with Planeswalkers. That's all I feel at liberty to say. Of course, we're going second once again, which is, you know, it's fine. It happens. Against Mono Red. Not great, and of course the Z is back. It's fine. Everything's fine. Stick around to the end where I tell you about a cool code for a single booster. As I wait for my mono red opponent to play out their second turn. Maybe they've disconnected. Maybe my soul is disconnected. Maybe everything I know is a lie. And we all will return to the void at one point. I was actually gonna get real dark for a second, and I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. I was gonna talk about the Call of the Void phenomena. Wow, cool. I have to assume my opponent disconnected there. Never, what is it? Never attribute to malice what is attributable to stupidity, I think is what it is. But essentially it's like, you know, don't automatically assume that someone is trying to be a dick. If, you know, things happen several times in a row, then you just tell them that you're not going to take any of the bullshit with pot of sudden death. You don't understand. I don't think that I do a very good Christopher Walken, but I kind of found myself slipping into this tone, and frankly, And Frank. I'm sorry. Oh man, I don't know what I'm talking about, man. Pyromancer. Yay! I'm taking a lot. I'm not gonna draw a card, am I? I'm not gonna draw a land, am I? Oh my gosh, I drew a land? It's not a blue land, which is unfortunate, but at the very least, I have blockers now. So I can block a Pyromancer and a Lava Runner. Unfortunately, my Overseer could die pretty easily. I guess I kind of just want one more land. I'd prefer a black land, but I'm not, I'm not going to be picky. Like being able to just play Relentless Advance is pretty helpful. Okay, so yeah, I assume my opponent has something going on. But I have to just, block, hope for the best. That's all you can really ever do in life, hope for the best. Things aren't always going to go your way. You're going to go second a lot. You're gonna draw poorly in life. But you have to, you have to just. Sometimes you're not going to draw any more lands. Yeah, just gotta hope things work out. And sometimes things won't work out. I'm pretty sure this game is not going to work out. Relatively sure this video is not going to work out. Videos haven't been doing well recently, and regardless, it seems like we're going to be on a losing streak here. I assume my opponent's going to play a Chain Whirler, but I really can't take 2 more damage. Yep, Chain Whirler. I did expect it. I'd like to get another land though. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. So I could either Relentless Advance, to have a nice block here. This puts this to 4. This will be on 5. Honestly, I think that might be the best choice. We could obviously Liliana and plus and try to gain some life. And we very well are possibly dead just because of how low we are. But sometimes you also just have to go for it. Sometimes you have to do a bit of a Hail Mary and hope things go the way you'd like. If our zombie token survives, we'll be able to potentially play a Death Baron next turn, and then we'll be able to gain some life with this. So our opponent has 1 card in hand, right? That 1 card, if it's a shock, we die, right? If it's literally any burn spell, essentially, that's in this format that people play, then we do die. As well as, if it is one of those things, and we block, our creature dies, right? So either way, we kind of have to block here. So we're hoping, unfortunately, they did have something. But if they did have something, regardless, we would have died. Now we're still unfortunately likely to die. I do wish I drew another land there, so I could have at least entered the God's Eternal. So here, there's a few things we could do. We can go ahead and just Death Baron. Doesn't really do anything, unfortunately. We can Soul Diviner, which gives us a clean block here, and the ability to just chump this for now until we hopefully get an enter. And I think, honestly, Soul Diviner is probably the best choice here. And the reason for that is because, let's say on my next turn, I don't draw a land, right? I don't top deck a land. I'll have a Dreadhorde token out. And I'll be able to utilize, as long as it's alive, I'll be able to utilize my Soul Diviner to... Okay, that's awkward. I'll be able to utilize my Soul Diviner in order to, sacrifice that token to draw another card. Hopefully giving me the land that I need. So, not the land that I need. So, I do essentially have to do this. Didn't get the land I needed. Luckily, this does give me 2 blockers. The unfortunate bit is I have to have a land soon. Right, I'm going to die in a couple of turns to Dreadhorde Invasion. And my opponent playing a burn deck, they're probably going to be able to top deck a burn spell at some point. It's possible that they just top decked a burn spell and they're being mean, but once again, never attribute to malice. But, you have to accept when times are when whole videos don't go your way. Maybe you've made a career choice, and after I don't know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you realize that it's just not working for you. You're having more bad days than good. Sometimes you just have to realize that. Step back, evaluate your deck choice, and start over from scratch, dismantle it. Maybe you try to reconfigure that deck, reconfigure the skills that you've acquired in that job, or you can what's the word I'm looking for? You can just build a new deck, right? Obviously, these analogies aren't great, but I don't know. Can I have a land? I did get a land, so we are not great yet, but we're much closer to okay. And are we going to mill them or myself? I'm not sure it actually matters. Liliana is not going to get me anything. She's just a bit too slow, so I think I would rather just force the mill on them. You know what? Well, first of all, that was a pretty good mill. I mean, the first card would have been a mountain, so that's whatever. I am just going to pass the turn, though. But the first card would have been a mountain, so, you know, maybe I put them into a situation. But I should not have targeted them because they could have risk factor, right? Risk factor alone means I should not give them the card. So, next turn, we can just enter the God-Eternals again, and we'll be able to, 1, gain 4 life, and then 2, we'll be able to actually attack with a rather large army, and be able to, you know, gain a large chunk of that life back. So it looks like my opponent is going to kill... No, they're going for my face. Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable. The only issue I see with their line of play there is they should know that my Dreadhorde Invasion is going to put this... Oh, well, yeah, put me to 1. Alternatively, I could just double Death Baron instead of enter. I do like the idea of just getting rid of this, but, you know, these... I think this is fine. I'm gaining less life, right? I admit that. But I think that this is a little bit better for setting me up for later on in the game. If there is a later on. Essentially, my opponent is very likely to concede at this point, and I'm very glad I was able to actually... you know, the game's not over yet, but I'm very glad that I'm able to defeat at least one deck this game, right? So, as I said, you know, you always hope that things work out, and sometimes they don't, as evidenced by the first games. I don't know how many I've played at this point, and sometimes they do, right? I don't think it would be appropriate to continue playing another game, and this may be shorter than usual, but you know, I do still have other things to do, and you know what? You can probably tell I have a lot on my mind right now. And I hope that what has been on my mind that I've said right now, you know, put some things on your mind, right? It allows you to calmly evaluate things. And at the end of it, I hope, if nothing else, that you can take some time to hope for the best. Even if the best doesn't come, the hope is important. Yeah. So, I'm gonna go to the store, and there is a code. It's 1 billion, I believe. And this will give you 1 pack. This is celebrating Arena's... Arena has, like, had a billion games played. Billion's a lot. Like, 1 million seconds is like 11-ish days, I think? 12 or something like that. But 1 billion seconds is like 30-something years, right? There's a big difference. That said, I feel like we could have got something a little bit more than 1 pack, but free is free. I'm not going to complain. And of course, I did remember, I will go through some of the cards that I didn't actually play in the deck today. And they might be cards that, you know, you just decide to play instead. You know, we could definitely get rid of a lot of the spells. I still think Enter the God-Eternal is a very strong card. It's a very strong reason to be playing blue. But, you know, maybe you do drop the Kefnets, you drop the other, like the blue, just amass card. Get rid of the Thought Erasures, throw those on the side, you know. Get rid of the Commence the End Game. Probably don't even throw those on the side, frankly. And just make it a little bit more aggressive, right? So, you know, you'd add some of these cards. Diagraph Ghoul, Dread Malkin, Gutterbones, and Citrus Supplier. I didn't feel like any of them really played into the game plan of having the amass tokens. Obviously, Diagraph Ghoul is a very strong card. Typically, Gutterbones is going to be better for you because your Death Baron is going to still give the Gutterbones the same buff, and you can get this back, right? Functionally the same. Obviously, the fact that Diagraph Ghoul has an extra point of toughness is a point in that card's favor. Dread Malkin. It's a really interesting card. that unfortunately has not seen any play to my knowledge. You know, it has menace innately, and you can make it larger, and it's not a horrible cost if you think about it, right? The worst part about this creature's cost is actually the 2 and a black. If this was just like 2 mana, or I mean 1 mana might be too strong, but if this was just a 2 mana activated ability, it would actually not, it would be a lot more palatable, right? If your opponent is targeting something that's going to die anyway, it's not terribly hard to hold up 2 mana, right? You saw last game, there were situations because of how I needed to structure things that I had 2 mana up, right? And being able to potentially activate this card in response to a removal spell or something like that is going to be helpful. The fact that it gives you 2+1/+1 counters is not awful, right? The investment of a single creature that you're only ever going to use if it's currently on its the death's doorstep means that the cost isn't actually too bad. The unfortunate bit is that 1, the mana cost of it is too bad, and 2, it just doesn't really jive super well in this deck. I will say that there is a nice little combination going on here with Dreadhorde Invasion, in that you can get 1 amass token, and then you can pay 3 to put 2 counters on this. So you're paying 3 essentially to get 1 bigger, and the amass creature has menace, but the mana cost investment is really the issue. If this was 2 mana, I think that would be a fantastic, like, I think that would be good enough and I'd play it, but at 3, it's just not worth it. Citrus Supplier does nothing in this deck. This is not Golgari zombies, where we actively have a ton of things that care about the graveyard. This is blue-black zombies, where we don't. Duress, really important in this metagame because people are playing nonsense. I just want to play zombies, and people are like, no. Midnight Reaper. Season don't feel the Reaper, but unfortunately, this doesn't count for tokens, and we're trying to play tokens. Vision of the Scorpion. I still don't see why this is like ever good. You know, you're still getting like 2/2 worth of stats, similar to Death Baron, and I understand that Death Baron is 2 black, and this is just 1 black. But this only works for tokens. I would just rather have Death Baron like every day of the week. This card has never felt like I have tried with this for a short while, and then I was like, nah. But I do every time I have a Death Baron. I'm like, would I prefer Vizier here? And for times where I just need chump blockers, I would prefer Vizier. But if I need chump blockers that bad, I don't love my position anyway, right? So, Herald of the Dreadhorde, or Herald as he's called, is not terrible. Technically, this is better. This is going to be better for the deck than the spell that just gives you a mass 3. But I was trying to play with a bit more spells. If you don't want to play with the spells, this is a good replacement for that. Joseph S. He's cool. He brings in tokens. Like, that's not something to understate. But I did want to try and play with a Kefnet. If you do go the route of just not having Kefnets, a whole package there, and you still don't really need to cut Kefnet, because the flying is nice. But this is potentially just a better card to slot in, because if somehow you flooded all the way up to 10 mana, you'll be able to get some zombies tokens, and the tokens are benefited by your stuff, whatever. Angrath, technically playable in this deck. Literally the only reason I didn't play it is because its color identity is black-red, and I wanted to keep this pure. God-Eternal Kefnet. She's cool, but we're not going wide, so I was like, nah, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the video today. I hope it has been, like, you know, insightful, thought-provoking. Even if it was less about the gameplay today, and was more about, you know, the discussion. I do hope it I hope it mattered to at least one person, you know. Yeah. I'd like to thank my patrons, especially Salamander, Croft, Zin, and Rexel, for the continued support. And really, honestly, I just want to take the time to thank all of my patrons, like, sincerely. Each and every one of you makes making content a lot easier, right? Being able to upgrade things and not have to worry about the time investment, it really does mean a lot. If you want to support me but you don't want to deal with Patreon, you can just press the join button, and you functionally become a $5 patron. And you know, any little bit helps. And honestly, if you want to support me but you can't, or you don't want to support financially, I totally understand that. I don't think these people are like, I don't think the patrons or whatever are above the quote-unquote average audience, because any person who wants to support the show can honestly just keep watching, keep liking, keep commenting. You know, that's the best thing you can do. Share it around. You know, the Magic the Gathering subreddit has made, or they're like working on a new rule for content creators, so I'll actually be able to share some of the videos I make. So you know, maybe the growth will begin again. But honestly, just chatting with you guys is enough, you know. So you just keep conversing with me, and that's all I really ask, and I really do appreciate it. Enough of the sappiness out of the way. In the description, you'll find links to the decks, the AetherHub account, which links the decks, and the Discord server, where we can chat more directly. That is still the easiest way to get a hold of me, other than commenting on the videos. So, like, if you comment, I get notified, and I try and reply to most of them. But yeah, Discord, you can at me at like random times, and at least I'll see it like the next day, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Got some sort of enjoyment out of it. If you did, I would love it if you tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, cast a comment to the comment section down below, pass the turn and the video to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.